let's meeting to order, the Alger County Board of Commissioners, regular meeting for June 16th, 2025 at 4 P.M. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa,
Here.
Commissioner Livermore.
Yep.
Commissioner Nettleton.
Here.
Commissioner Rondo.
Here.
Commissioner Seaver.
You want to start us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brief public comment. Anybody for brief public comment? Third time? All right, moving on. Agenda.
I'll make
As
a,
printed.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, number 6. Is there anything there that anybody wants out for any more discussion, or are we good with everything we put on there?
You guys did a lot last week. Haven't caught up yet.
It was pretty quick though.
I think most of it I'm aware of everything going on.
I'll make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Get something you want a roll call for. All right, Joel.
We do have a resolution.
Do you want a roll call on that one? Probably just because of it?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Capagrosa,
Yeah.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes.
Number 7, the minutes. Meeting committee of the whole and regular commissioner meeting for May. I found one. I asked Joel to add 3 words to. Somewhere.
It was,
When we did the appointment for the road commission. It says received the most votes, and I asked him to add, and was appointed to the end of that, just
Yeah.
to. We don't know that that's what happened, but just to clarify, so if anybody down the road is reading it. So that was the only correction I had for it.
Let's make a motion to accept the minutes from May 12th and May 19th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, Sheriff's Department window bid. Brian, you got some new info on that for us?
Yes, the clarification on that, so the windows back by the jail cells,
Yep.
they went with, what was that called? What was the name of that? Glass, tempered glass. So, and it's a triple pane, so all 3 panes would be tempered glass. So it's gonna be, you'd have to take a sledgehammer to pound it out. And I think that was a big concern of the window bids of all of them. The rest of the windows, we are downsizing, as you've probably seen in the size of them. Where like, I'll take Todd's office, the sheriff's office, it's all windows.
Right.
We are putting 2, I think the 3x4s or 3x5s, I can't remember what it was, but anyways. There'll be 2 of them in that instead of all glass. So down the road. And then we are building walls in between those windows and insulating them. They will be drywalling them. We'll have to finish the drywall. So we'll probably get a drywaller in just to take them off and finish it. But the rest of it will be trimmed out and everything else on it. And then there'll be siding on the outside. And again, just on the back windows where the sheriff department is, you know, where it's, and Mike probably knows more than anybody, it's how you have the cage all the way across on those windows. We won't need all that caging because it's gonna be wall and framed in.
Yep.
And sided. So you won't, you don't need that, all that big sheeting of caging like we had in the past, so that's gonna make it look different. And then I try to keep all the windows the same, so when you're looking at the sheriff department, it's gonna look kind of uniform. It's not gonna look like one size here and one size, you know what I mean? I'm trying to make it. And I got a little grief of window size on some of the people, but they keep them all closed anyways, the shades, because the sun comes in, you can't see the screen in one, or the wind. You know, screen wise, they're probably gonna have the same amount of breeze coming in them. Because on those great big windows, there's only a little portion on the bottom that opens. On those great big windows, so down the road, it is gonna save the county money. I'm looking at the future of the county. Besides short-term effect, I know it's initial big cost, but. You know, I'm not gonna be here forever, but I'm a taxpayer, and it's like. Sure. Let's
Yeah,
go.
some
Look
of
at the
those
future.
windows were original, I believe.
They are original, 1963, that building stamped on, so when it was built.
So.
So all original windows,
You might as well leave it open because we're just throwing heat out it.
the back windows never shut tight.
Yep.
They just got regular plexiglass in them, so they're not even, you could push them out if you wanted to anyways. At the moment, they've been like that since I worked here. So,
And it looked like in the paperwork that the window store. They wanted us to get another contractor, put some kind of safety film on them instead of offering a solution of their own for those windows that we were worried about.
yes, and,
Okay.
just so they can't look out. Yeah, I mean, it's the lower ones,
Yeah,
that they had, the small ones that open. We got a film on it, so
right, but
they can't look in or look out, but you got light coming in.
the way I was reading, like the window store, where it was those, is that what they were talking about? Or did they not give us an option for any kind of tempered glass or break
Yeah,
shattered
they-
glass?
No, they were
Okay.
given the same tempered glass, same options, and matter of fact, that what I did was,
So-
because they came in first. And he took the most time.
Yeah, budget window quotes.
Yep. And I kind of blocked all the prices out. And said, these are the size of windows we want.
Sure,
Well,
well, there's an $11,000 difference, so it's gonna be,
it's.
I just wanted to make sure that they were both giving us.
But
numbers for the same
these
thing.
windows here are all triple pane versus the double pane windows. So all the offices will be triple pane,
So,
and even back by the jail cell, the ones up high.
Yeah.
And them are all triple pane, and even the ones that can flip out, them are all triple pane.
okay, so
So-
triple pane from the budget window store and then
Right,
from the regular window store, just double pane.
right.
Okay,
And the third company that we had come in, he came in, estimated it, and he was having trouble with his company to get those ones back by the jail.
that tempered glass.
And he never did come back with
Okay.
never did submit it. So I talked to him a few times, I emailed him, said, you're gonna get your bid in by this date, and then. We waited, and he never did submit.
Appreciate you going back and getting us the info on those windows, cause that's how they were.
But anyways, I think it's gonna be a huge upgrade. It's gonna be a way user. And the other part too, just to let you know, in the front office where they have the air conditioner in the front lobby. They also gonna box that in and we're gonna put they'll probably upgrade that air conditioner. That thing. It's old when I started here. And it's, we'll have to pick a newer one. And whatever one we pick up, they'll box that in.
Good.
And that's part of the bid too, of boxing that in and whatever air conditioner that we pick up. For that front office.
So you're recommending the budget windows?
Yes.
Would be my thought as well.
Well, he's got to recommend it.
Right, yeah,
No, I recommend, I don't have no ties with these people, but I will experience, I did have them put a basement window in my house. And a garage window. And in my garage window, the basement window, they did an excellent job, but my garage window. It's probably the only window that does not fog. When I'm working in there and all the
yeah,
other windows fog up. that one's, that's clear.
It's an extra.
It's like, I told Kathy,
The third
"Oh, I wish we
page.
would have did all of them."
Thank you, Ryan.
I'll make a motion, we, take their bid, budget windows.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caprosa,
No.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Middleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes,
Number 9. Courthouse ADA door openers.
Never got what they're doing.
Okay. So do you want me to go on that one, or you been taking on that one, or?
So nothing's changed on this one. They're both gonna have to be. Have a separate electrician coming to wire them, cause the Wi-Fi and wireless one, it never came in,
Okay.
so. It's pretty straightforward, I think, pretty obvious on this one too.
And I can go back to that same company and ask them if it's a cheaper price.
And I don't, it's
You know,
not
if you
the active
approve the-
pendulum, I don't have the.
If you approve the,
one opens.
going on with it, but. I do know at some point, by law, we have to get all those doors that are open. If we,
There's the
even
window
as-
storage.
even as a fire
Damage
marshal
glass.
standard, it's propped open.
They're outside from last week's.
And it's a fire door, that lobby door is supposed to be closed.
Just glass for 10,997, window store for 17,420.
do these bids include electrician?
No, neither one do. $10,977 for Anderson,
997.
$997. Or 17,420 for the window store. Plus we gotta pay the electrician.
Not Anderson, it was that Anderson?
Jeff's.
Jeff's cost there.
Was it Jeff's or Anderson?
Jeff's.
Jeff's. Okay. Sure we awarded to the right people.
And we did have another company, but they contract with the company contracts with the same bid that Jeff Glass contracts with, and there's a conflict of interest.
Cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. We're down to the choice between Jeff's Glass for $10,997 or the window store for $17,420 to get those replaced, the 3 of them.
17,000 what?
17,420 was
It's
the window store's bid.
just over $6,000 higher.
So what's your recommendation, Brian?
My recommendation is to go with Jeff's Glass. In fact, they were very prompt. And I even called them. They were right on it.
Entertain a motion when somebody's ready.
I was gonna say, I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Jeff's Glass. The doors,
I'll support that.
Any more discussion?
The only thing is, how many doors are there?
There's three
Three,
automatic doors.
okay.
And the reason is the doors that are on there, I'm guessing must be original from the building. They're ran by a little air compressor pump. They don't even make the parts for them.
Oh.
And everybody I said, they said air compressor. Oh, they were old. They said, every place I called, they don't even make, and I said, I know, I looked online, looked on eBay, trying to find a pump or a part to replace that door that broke. And I don't know if you had noticed how it used to slam that top door.
Mhm.
Well, it got way worse one day and I kept slamming and I unhooked it because it's like, if I have somebody coming in and it slams and hits them, it's gonna be a worse scenario for the county than propping it open.
Well, thank you for that.
Any other discussion? All in favor of accepting the bid from Jeff's Glass for $10,997? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caprosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes,
Commissioner Nettleton,
Yes,
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes.
trying to cut it down for you a little bit. As I said, you just give me a look if you're. Number 10, AC3 request for opioid prevention education in the amount of $10,415.80.
or just say approve. I was going, obviously, I went on vacation during the worst part of this, but I was looking at the amount we get and where we have it, and that's what I forgot to ask and email you, is where we're at with how much we have in our settlement. I can't find that. How much do we have right now? I'm searching and looking and I'm like, why can I not find the right wording to find this?
On that monthly, every month when I give you the finance report under the funds,
Okay,
it would be the.
I'm like looking up opioid treasure finance. Cause we're about
Fund
to,
284,
hmm,
it's the fund 284 opioid. $156,000 right now, a little over.
like, so I don't have any problem with
I look at the landscape.
giving money from that to make sure that we have prevention and more of it. We
Yeah.
definitely don't have a problem with,
Mhm.
I think we need more explanation here. Is that, where is this happening at? Schools? Where is this, is it schools, is it school?
well, she's here.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to know.
Yeah, I gave
Yeah.
a presentation
Who's gonna be
last week.
Responsible for this? Or
No,
do they
I'll be-
accept it?
Yes, I'll be doing the teaching and I work for AC3. I'm a prevention specialist. And so in the schools right now, not in every school, but every grade, but in all the Alger County schools, we do prevention. It's called BOP and Life Skills. We do it for middle school. The funding that we used to receive from North Care for elementary is no longer there. We find that that's one of the most important areas. I think the younger you can get them in, talking about these things. Especially because the prevention education we do, it's about, Boston Life Skills is about teaching them how to be resilient, how to say no, how to be confident, and trying to teach them about things. When we do the pre-test, this is the first year that I've taught it. I taught other things before, but I was really shocked at how many kids just didn't even know that alcohol was a stimulant. They didn't know that cigarettes increases your heart rate, just all these things that they really don't know. And I think a lot of times when I talk to parents think that their kids just know, that they've told them or they found it out
or if
somewhere.
they don't know, then it's not gonna happen.
Right,
We
right,
don't introduce it to them, they'll never introduce themselves to it.
right.
This has been going on since Reagan.
During Reagan,
Prevention.
it was a much different thing.
Well, my point is that we keep loading schools with this stuff.
Oh, we're not just gonna do it in the schools. That's just one arm of it, is doing the elementary and Mather. We would be looking at that. Another thing I had in there, what we presented about last week, is that we'd be offering it to parents as well. And the prosecuting attorney has said that he will start strongly suggesting it to parents, because he can't force them to do it. Because we have real problems with truancy, kids aren't going to school, and they show that you not going to school is obviously gonna give them opportunities to get into things they shouldn't be doing. But the way that I look at it is I do, during the Reagan administration, they just said, don't say no. They did the DARE program, which weren't bad things. But I think now what we're doing is education. Like when I go in with the kids, I teach them about their, like how old you're gonna be until your body starts growing. And when I leave, I always say, make better choices every day. And who are you making better choices for? For you. So that kids are getting that it's, if we found that, we could say parents don't know, but in most cases, kids are learning about things from their peers. So if we can get in there and get them more information about it and get them thinking about what they're doing, and how it's affecting them. Like I just did a Prime for Life class, and that's another thing that I have in there. And I had 3 kids that all got in trouble for vaping, and all of them said they were all introduced to it from their peers. And one young man told me like all his families have cancer from smoking, and he did it because one of his friends introduced him to it. And he's like, has the opportunity to play college football. And I'm like, why are you doing this then? Well, everybody's doing it. And so trying to get them to make it it's about them, not about other people doing it. And I understand what you're saying, but for me, I look at it and I think that we have to try to get them in the beginning to educate them, and it's done in a different way. Everything that we do is evidence-based, so it's based on science. It's not, we're trying to, it's a whole curriculum, and we don't just we give kids facts. We don't just talk about, just say no. Like we talked about how I'm 60, I'm a product of after school specials, and it worked for me. Fear-based worked for a lot of people. It used to work, and now kids aren't afraid of anything. So it's more getting them about learning to make the choices for themselves instead of letting other people make choices for them.
My concern is
Sure, sir.
how we keep loading the schools with different things and the education becomes secondary to these other things, and how the schools are accepting it. Are they accepting it? Or
Very, very
rejecting
accepting.
it?
In fact, Shannon DeFrancisco was so excited when I came to her and said, this is something I wanted to present. We've never had it at Mather Elementary before. And so then what I want to do is start at Mather and then hopefully be able to go out to Superior Central. I teach out at Superior Central. The kids were really responsive to it, but you have those some that, at least we can talk about what the kids are much more open, I think. And for me, I think you have to get it from all sides. So this way they're getting it from a parent, they're getting it from their teachers, they're getting it from their coaches, and they're getting it from this old lady. That's why I look at it. And that's what I tell them. I'm like, I'm old, you don't look at you. I look at things differently than you do, and we have a lot of fun with that. But mostly for me, it's about, especially with the opioid funds, it's about making people realize that my goal is to help educate the public. And the public thinks that they're not, that it doesn't affect them, only drug users. And the fact of the matter is that, like I told them in the presentation last time, the first person to be used Narcan on in the state of Michigan was a 5-year-old who picked a pill up off the floor. And so we aren't having people carry Narcan, and I'm just an average Joe. And until I started doing this program, I thought, why would I need it? I don't do drugs. But it's for 5-year-olds, it's for someone who's on pain medication after a surgery and accidentally takes their medication twice.
And how often are you in the school?
During the school year, I'm in there, when I teach the class, I'm in there once a week. So we go in there once a week for an hour. We do it during health. And the health, I work right, well, this year I did it in Superior Central and Munising, and it was really well received. And it gives the kids chances to talk to somebody else about it. I think that they really like the idea that we give them the opportunity to, and they talk about, I'm a big jokester. So we talk about sports people, and it's like, are you just going to let LeBron James tell you what to do? I'm just saying, if he said, this is what you should be doing. So we have a lot of fun with that. And I think that, I'm old school, so I really talk about respect and respecting yourself and respecting others. And when you come to school and you vape and it's against the rules of what you should be doing, you're not following the code of contact. And when you're an athlete, which I was, sports are extracurricular. And so when you go to school, that should be your focus. And we talk a lot about that, how important it is. So for me, it's a passion, because I really believe that we're just, with the opioid situation, we are looking at everything's so reactionary for people that are already using drugs, and they're in the Good Samaritan laws, everything like that. And I want to get ahead of it. I want to get ahead of it before it gets to that point. And we want to get to kids, not just me, but we want to get to kids, even if their parents are doing it, so that they can get to a point and say, that works for you, but it's not going to work for me. That's not what I want for myself.
Well, thank you for that. I didn't have any idea what you were about, so thank you.
My only question is,
Sure.
what is the plans to get this into our other 2 school districts?
Well, that's
We've got Grand Marais, we've got Autry, and I know that middle school
believe me.
too, so.
Believe me, and that is a big thing with me, and that's why I asked if it was a renewable thing that we could approach, because you have to start somewhere, and there's only one of me. So we have to figure out logistically how we can do it for the future, because I know, like, that's the thing I love about Grand Marais is that they're so supportive of their kids and they do so many great things. And I think sometimes you think it's a small school that think that they're, you know, it's easy to impact them, but they have so much going on with them that they don't do it. And Superior Central, believe me, that's a conversation that I plan on having with Bill over the summer, is that we're trying to hope, you know, that if I can say, I've got a satellite program that's happening this year, and if I can show it worked and we can show that, you know, even we got it to parents, then it's looking at how can we get it over here. And that, and believe me, I support all of Alger County. I'm not, you know, the real hardest.
You've all heard me up here saying.
Yeah, no,
There's 9,000 of us in the whole county. I just
Yeah,
wanna make sure.
no, and I'm all, I mean, I
gotta
love
take care of
going
it,
to
so.
Grand Marais and doing stuff. And the only barrier I've had really with the schools is our trainer Noda. And he kind of likes to be his own island, but I have a friend whose daughter just got to be a teacher there. So I'm hoping that's gonna be an end that we can work on them, because they're not doing the youth survey. We do a youth survey every 2 years. And in at Superior Central, I get a little bit of, you know, they don't want to take it. Parents fill out the passive consent form. And, but when I go in there and I talk to kids and I say, look, this is all for you. We don't know who's, you know, all we know is you're male or female, what grade you're in, and we know what school you're at. But we don't know anything about this, anything else. And this is an opportunity for you to have a voice so that you can tell us what you need, not what we think you need, but what they know. Because then if they're really realistic and they tell us what's happening, then, you know, then we can get out there. And that's something like we've really been pushing to is 988 and get him to realize that it's not just a suicide line. It's an anonymous line for you to go and talk to someone if you need to. So I'm all about trying to work all the avenues. In fact, I had to fight my boss because she doesn't believe in I do the backpack program too for the weekends, and we are trying to get that through all the schools. And I had through studies at her that show her that kids that don't eat well, their brain doesn't develop well, they can't stay focused. And if we don't try to do something about that, we're just fighting a losing battle on that too.
Scare my question.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, she came in and I grilled her and gave her my 2 cents and all that good stuff, so I made sure that she was on board for everything, prevention and making
You
sure
went,
that.
you went on vacation, you got 2 cents left?
I don't have any 2 cents left, but I had it before I went on vacation.
Before she left, she had it.
I had it in me before, so
Yeah.
I definitely, and even sitting with it afterwards, thinking about it and looking at stuff, I definitely would recommend that.
Yeah, we should not hold our breath waiting for the North Care dollars to come back.
No, so I recommend,
We got other issues.
so I'll make a motion to award her the $10,415.80 for prevention education in Alger County.
I'll support.
What would you like, Joel? Roll call?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Well, I was.
Any more discussion? I'm sorry.
She did mention a renewing. Do we just wanna start with this year?
Oh, of
See
course.
where-
Have to look at that.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't want you to, all I was saying is that that's what I'm looking at. If this goes well, then I can approach other school, you know, in other
Okay.
areas to try to do it. And is in the parenting program too, because what I think is great about that is that we can then say the kids are having the conversation in school, the parents are having it in a different thing, and we try to get together on the same page of what we're doing.
Let's
So,
do
yeah.
Like a start off a base.
Mhm,
to see
exactly.
where-
It'd
Okay.
just be, and that's why I said, I'm not saying that it is, I'm just looking, if it's a possibility, it would be really wonderful to move it around the county.
Any other discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes,
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes.
Number 11, Office of Community Corrections Fiscal Year 26 funding application. You're up.
Thanks, right on, we'll come up. I'm sure there's gonna be questions and such, but I just I went ahead and sent you all the funding application for 2026 for community corrections. And also Commissioner Livermore, welcome to the Community Corrections Advisory Board. Officially, you know, the Marquette Board of Commissioners were very happy to welcome you aboard. So I did email you. I don't know if you got it this morning. Perfect. Yeah, for making sure you know like when the dates are. We just got our updated bylaws, you know, finalized and everything. And so yeah, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Yeah, this is you know, pretty much we're not adding anything special like different programs that I haven't already touched on before. This is just renewing all of our current programs that we currently have with the addition of Alger and Dickinson County for next year. This supports, you know, my full-time position along with 2 part-time positions Now, one of those part-time positions is for, right now, I'm the one that facilitates moral recognition therapy, which is a 12-step program. However, my mentor and the person I learned from for moral recognition therapy is back from retirement, and she would like to get at it again. She's wonderful. She's much better than I am at it. Even though moral recognition therapy is a phenomenal 12-step program that I'm all on board with. But if I can get her on board and have her delegate, that's 4 or 5 hours of my week going towards, having her doing that instead, absolutely. Kind of leaves more room for my supervision aspect on pretrial services, things like that, because our caseload is only growing day by day. So that was a great addition. And my coworker / employee, Taylor, her position is technically part-time. However, it's kind of married with another position in the county. She oversees our drug screening operations. And eventually, my goal, maybe even mid-year of next year, is having her position become full-time and reevaluating that married position with the drug screening, and potentially even adding a position mid-year. For these grants, I've been advised by the state to, if I'm going to be adding positions, to do it during the mid-year. It's easier. With these grants from the state, it's not like any other grant to where you're awarded this amount and, oh, it's okay if you don't spend it all. No, they really want you to spend the money. Like if they're tracking it, you better be at 95%, spending the awarded funds that you have. So I try to really, be conservative with what I'm asking for in hopes that, we're tracking higher, then we can ask for more mid-year. That actually happened to us last year, where we were tracking, to actually spend more than what we, were awarded. And they're easygoing and very, they look at other counties who aren't utilizing their money, pull from them, downstate counties, a lot of times Wayne County, these big counties that don't utilize all their funds, and they pull that and bring it up here to the UP. So yeah, that's kind of what it's all about. So that $441,823.66 is the proposed amount for next year. I've already talked to the case specialist from the state. She's very excited, and sounds like we're going to be, hopefully getting awarded that amount. We won't know till like August, around there, to when they officially award it for 2026. But yeah, sounds like everyone's pretty optimistic that that's gonna happen, and we'll continue to move on from there. But that's $100,000 more than what we asked for last year. So when I first started, we were at 90,000. Now we're trickling up to almost $500,000. That's what it's all about: getting more money for the UP, Alger County, Marquette, and Dickinson. That's what it's all about. So yeah, any questions regarding the application for 2026?
That's broke down right down to pens and paper. So.
What, I don't see the cost to Alger County, there's none.
So how it works, we're all part of this together. There is no like breaking down for, Alger County gets this, Marquette gets this, Dickinson gets this. We're together. When we regionalize, we are truly one entity now operating as one. So, and that's the beautiful part of it, is that there's no like, oh, Alger County can only have this many enrollments for pretrial services. Oh, they can only have this many, it's all opened up. Really, we're encouraged to try to get as many people, for instance, on pretrial services from Alger County, more people on, utilizing our services, because the more people that utilize the services, the more money we can ask for in the end. So that's kind of how it works, and that's the beauty of it.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering wrong, but basically everything's covered through the grant.
Yes.
With the exception of the testing before.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the opiate,
There's the opiate money.
yeah, the opiate settlement funds would be a really great, that's my recommendation anyways. And that was a great example of what it should be used for,
Right.
Opiate remediation. Drug screening is another, important, huge aspect of that, to utilize your, this is a flagging mechanism. We're not trying to fill our jails here. Community corrections is all about trying to fix the problem. Get them into treatment. And that's another program that community corrections has. TRICAP, opiate methamphetamine specific program is what it's called. Doesn't get more exact for opiate remediation than that. So it's cool that, drug screening is a tool, a mechanism, a flagging mechanism to realize, hey, this person has a problem. They may need to get lodged temporarily. The goal is to get them to treatment. The goal is to get them help, to use it for opiate remediation. So that's what Marquette County has been doing, and it's been working really well for us. And that's what I would recommend for for our Alger County.
Basically, you just need each county's approval to get this sent in then is what you.
That's correct. Yep, and it happens every year. And it's, yeah, the cool thing is that, moving forward, Commissioner Livermore will be, on our board, active in these conversations. The next one that you'll be at will be our, July 23rd. And that'll go over our third quarterly report. We break down all the money, we break down all the who's getting enrolled in these programs, what, barriers we need to, what barriers are kind of in our way, or, things like that. It's a great roundtable meeting, where we're all physically there talking to one another. It's great.
So how many on your committee?
Let's see here. Well, with the addition, we have a couple vacancies in our slots, that we're actively trying to fill. I believe we're at 15, but, I may be a little off with that, but around 15 members. And, they're from all over, including obviously now, one here from Alger and another one from Dickinson. And, the vacancies too, the cool thing is that now we can fill those vacancies maybe in Alger County, maybe in Dickinson County.
When I was looking at
Yeah.
that, you have a vacancy for general public.
Yep.
That we could find somebody from Alger County to put on that,
Yes.
just to add another person, cause I'm the only one on that from.
Yeah.
Alger County.
More the merrier, we're all here in this together, at the end of the day. I would recommend, for that slot, have it be a member that is, truly, it's not, we say general public, but it's really nice if they have, some sort of background specialty. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have one of the general public from Great Lakes Recovery Center on ours, which is great. Another addition they have 2 people on our board, Jason Sides. So he's great to have as a general public and as a voice there. So yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a prosecuting attorney?
We
on?
do. Yes, our
How about
prosecuting attorney.
pathways? Do you have a-
No pathways, pathways is not on. However, like I said, it's open to the public too. So we've had people from pathways just sit in, and there's obviously times for them to speak, during, just like here, same kind of format of the agenda and things of that nature. But yeah, we try to make it an open meeting, make sure everyone's involved in these conversations, including the public, because it's community corrections. It's all about the community at the end of the day. So.
So. Give me a motion, I'll make a motion to. Go forward with the funding application for community corrections.
I'll support that. Any further discussion?
I'm having,
Right, so the motion is to approve the application for the fiscal year 2026 for the community corrections program. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caprosa,
yes.
Commissioner Livermore.
Yes.
Commissioner Middleton,
Yes,
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. Can I ask you one more question?
Yes, sir.
Where was 25?
25, that was the last meeting you guys joined for 2025. Yep.
Brendan.
You're in. Yep. So kind of, yes. Yeah, you're absolutely in. I want to touch.
doing next year's work already.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We're trying to get
I
it.
didn't notice
Head of the
that
ball.
26.
Yep. So last time I was here, I was working on that funding application, which is a beast, but yeah, it's nice to get that done. So now we're kind of scoping out a bit. The cool thing is we're hoping, my goal is to start operations here, like early July, mid-July. Right now, we're trying to work out some kinks, in Marquette before we introduce Alger and Dickinson, making sure that things are as seamless as possible with everything, but I'm antsy to go. I've been a lot of doing this, a lot of talking about it. I'm ready to start getting some action. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Number 12, any unfinished business, Joel?
Done.
Number 13, resolutions. Have any, right? Number 14, committee reports. Got it on the first this time?
I didn't have any.
Perfect.
Nope,
Easy
nothing.
report.
I was gonna say, cause, oh wait, I had QCAD last month. And I don't think there was anything that jumps out at me right now, so that was the only one I think I went to at the end of the month, so.
Very good.
I had a fair board meeting, but I discussed it last meeting.
Great.
No.
Good. The only one I had upcap last Friday. That's what I know about North Care's trouble. The state budget right now for DHHS, they're looking to cut North Care out. They're looking to take the state of Michigan from 10 districts to 3. They want to lump us in with northern lower Michigan. So UpCap is working on some things there to,
Didn't I just
Keep
mention,
pushing
did we
this.
send him to Washington with the proposal for?
yeah, so,
Oh, it's,
yeah. And so we're working on that, yeah, so we're looking to 3 regions instead of 10, looking to eliminate North Care, cause then there's abbreviations for all these, for the regions, there's a different, I just call them regions, there's another abbreviation for it. And then, so like North Care, well, if you combine 3 regions, you're not gonna have 3 separate, so that will get combined into one. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Hopefully they straighten it out, but we also had our Michigan Association of Counties rep was on a Zoom call with us as usual at UpCap, and she said, don't expect a whole lot out of Lansing. They're really not doing much of anything besides fighting with each other. So you expect a few budget things to come through, but other than that, the House is working on their own stuff, the Senate's working on their own stuff, and right now, the Senate's still suing the House, so the House has basically said, we're not doing anything that you want us to do until you make that go away. Cause the Senate's still upset that the House didn't act on a whole pile of bills at the end of the lame duck session, so. That's the short version of the MAC update.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They're too busy fighting to get anything done really for the rest.
They
of
ain't
us.
raising your taxes, sitting there fighting.
Yeah. UpCap is also working. We had a resolution in front of us, but we gave it back to Jonathan Mead to rework it. Just because there were some things that we wanted added into it. Opposing cuts to Medicaid funding, which the feds are looking at right now. Medicaid's got a big hit sitting in the first leaked budget. So they're working on that, and then once they get that one settled, we'll probably rework one and send it over here too for us, just because it all ties together, because North Care gets a lot of their money from Medicaid. And then what they don't get from that, they get from the state. So yeah, it's a whole house of cards right now on healthcare funding, so. I'll let you know what I know when I know it.
Is that gonna affect mental health?
Yep. We're looking at in the same, yep, in the same part of that. They were looking to get rid of the community mental health. They wanna try
Same
and
thing.
condense that down into. It's like, we fought so hard to get
No drain on it.
community mental health, just like it says in the community that.
Yeah.
Now they're looking to. Regionalize, broaden that out and, yeah. So hopefully they get their act together, and we should all keep an eye on our updates from Mac to see what's going on there, because I think we all get the emails from him, so.
Yeah.
But if I hear anything else specific, I'll definitely bring it to you, so. It was an interesting meeting, to say the least. So yeah, that's what my comment about the, not counting on that North Care dollars coming back for the education. Right now, they're just fighting for survival at this point, so, and that was the only one I had, so. Correspondence?
Just a resolution from Chippewa County, support bringing Amtrak to UP.
Board comments? Rick, anything?
No, but, I will, find out from pathways, and I think I have a North Care meeting.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna get some ears full on that.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Go.
No, still trying to get out of vacation mode.
Nick, any comments?
Well, it's kinda scary if they're cutting this kind of stuff where you really wanted them to cut, initially you wanted to cut, so. But when it comes right down to you, it's a little different either.
Yeah, they said they are hopeful that, like as in years past, eventually they'll say, all right, we need to. Quit playing games and fund the stuff that needs to be funded.
Is this actually state or is this coming down from the feds?
Both. It's all connected. So. They're pretty nervous right now.
Hmm.
Again, like I said, they are hopeful that, as in years past, when a lot of these things were like this, that eventually they come around and. But it probably won't be right till the deadline again, so. Those were my only comments. Staff comments, Joel?
Coincidentally, I think this morning or yesterday, I got a resolution. I didn't include it in here because it wasn't in the packet, but it will be for next month. Downstate opposing again, privatization of mental health services, so. It's coming back around again, so that'll be in your packet next time.
I do have a question. I don't know if anybody can answer it. Whatever happened to that battery factory that was really up in arms downstate? What happened with that?
No idea. At least personally, I don't. Pam, anything from the treasurer's office?
Nothing.
Mr. Prosecutor?
Just got back from our Prosecutors Association meeting in Midland last week, went very well. Probably saw, you may have seen in the news, the vote of no confidence that the the command union and the rank and file union took against the colonel of the state police. So in that regard, locally, we're doing everything we can to support our officers on the ground and their supervisors as we work to keep our community safe.
Eric?
Electrical's been started on the building. He's got a little bit more to do. Ceilings will be going in, paint. Got some people that'll be volunteering down there. Court deemed dangerous dog has been released back to the owner with a resolution, so that's good. Now we have a feline stray as a current resident right now, so. The feline's being housed in a dog kennel for where our shelter's at in progress. Mickey came down here last week and I gave him the grand tour of the construction zone. So it's a work in progress. Had part of a tree fall on the power line. It didn't do anything to the power or anything, but I caught it. I called UPCO hoping that UPCO would remove the two big dead trees. They only do whatever's on the power line, the rest is up to us, so I have a couple phone calls out waiting on some bids for tree removal there.
Yeah, cause they are definitely ours, they are definitely dead, when I went by there.
And they're right next to the power
Yeah.
line, so it's not something that would just be easy,
Yeah, power line and the
tree.
building, both
Yeah.
are close to, so.
but for now, that's about it.
Thanks, sir. Brief public comment. Anybody?
Just a couple things. First off, Brooklyn, our new housekeeper, is doing an excellent job. The other thing is, I want to thank the board, Joel and Pam, because the last 2 years, I mean, I hope everybody, a lot of people notice, but public really don't notice of the big projects that we've had completed in this building and the jail. In the last couple of years that the county board took upon herself to, that we invested in the future of the county buildings. And then you had the jail project over there with the water and showers and stuff. We had a roof over here last year. We're installing windows, working on the parking lot. I mean, they were all huge projects that, since I've worked here, it's only been the last couple of years that we really put really big investments back into the buildings that were really badly needed. So I want to thank the whole board for that. And Joel, and Pam, who's been excellent working with when we're getting these things completed and looking for funding and everything else. So thank you.
Cause they're the ones that tell us where we can find the money to do this,
So
so.
they are the ones that tell us where we can find the money.
They need some serious credit there.
They do.
And not only that, it's tracking it too. I mean,
Yeah.
if they do, sometimes if you do write a grant for some things, I mean, people just say, well, you get a grant. Well, anybody who does grants knows that's just the start of it. It's getting the grant. It's all the follow-up and submitting and there's a ton of that stuff. So, I want to thank everybody for that. And like I said, very well done. I think we're doing great.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
My name's Alex Leto Clark. I am from Community Action Elder Marquette. I have an office now, in the, clerk's office. I run a utility assistance program for water and sewer, and also a couple of home repair programs. There's a big one that we're working on, hopefully going to get funding in November. over $400,000 in home rehab that we hope to use for accessibility modifications, roofs, chimneys, and other needs. Our water assistance program, we'd like to assist more families in Alger County. Currently done, I think, like $2,500 in awards. And we work with a couple of residents pretty regularly. They submit an application every month. If you want more information about that, feel free to stop by the office. I'm always happy to talk about it. I can also give my contact information. I'm excited to work in Alger County. It's been great so far.
I'm gonna say, I haven't met you yet, so I'm excited. I was asking last of our meetings of who was up there and now we can get.
He's had his head down working a couple times, I've seen him in there, so I didn't test her.
And I
So
guess
nice to-
I got a public question, so you're set up here, you know, and I guess, does that cover like Grand Marais and?
Mhm, yep.
That's for people that, you know.
Yep, we actually,
apply?
with the My Hope program, which was a home repair program, we're still wrapping up. We had a family in Grand Marais that we helped who had a boiler and a furnace in their house and like corresponding water heaters. It was like a really strange like addition situation. So we were able to replace both of those.
What are you doing over there, Gregory?
I didn't get anybody in trouble, I just. And then we had, I believe, 4 homes in Alger County, one in Evan Junction, and the other 3 either in Munising or outside of Munising. So already have established, you know, presence here as far as programming goes, but definitely looking to expand that in the whole county.
Thank you.
Part of my job is to like reach out to different areas and try to make connections so that, you know, I can talk about the programs all I want, but really it's gonna be the people who live there that really make the big impact. So any contacts you wanna send to me, I'm always happy to get that. I'm also working with NCAM. I know they have a food pantry out in Grand Marais that's really utilized. So I'm working with the CAM resources as well.
So what's your name and contact?
My name is Alex. My email address is very long and I can give it
Oh.
afterwards. I'm so sorry.
No, but if you got run into somebody and need something,
Yes,
We can get that from him. And is his stuff on the online site now that he's here? If they go to like the courthouse, that he's a part of inside the building?
No, I mean, we can do that too if you want.
yep.
Like a link.
That's a good idea, Kim.
If you have, maybe you get one of your people to print out a sign for him, so it doesn't look like Sam put his name on his door for him.
Look at that.
It looks like some of Sam's artwork.
I'm left-handed, so
Boy,
dry erase boards are so
give
hard.
credit, we were just ready to blame Sam for it, so.
All right.
We're gonna tell you earlier about Sam.
See?
Yeah, we're excited to have you here for the folks, be able
I
to
didn't hear, but I
be
know.
with somebody here in Alger County, so,
Yeah.
thank you. And thank you for taking the time to come and introduce yourself, without being
Yeah.
told to. Appreciate that.
Make a
Any other-
motion to adjourn?
Any other public comment? I'll second your motion. All in favor?
I.
I.
You do, listen,